Hi guys, welcome to Learning Electronics Repair. And a very interesting thing here. So if you were taught electronics repair, like I was, you were told very early on that a resistor in circuit can never read more than its actual resistance unless it is faulty. Okay, so if you have, for example, a 10k resistor, anything in series with that resistor will have no effect on the reading you see on your multimeter if you measure across the resistor. Anything in parallel with it will either have no effect, like for example a capacitor or a small capacitor at least. With larger electrolytic capacitors, we may see the capacitor charge up, so the reading may start low, maybe 0, and climb up, but it won't climb up any higher than the value of the resistor. It may make it look like a short if there is an inductor in parallel with that resistor, and anything else in parallel with that resistor will make it look like a lower resistance. That's because resistors in parallel always reduce the total resistance you see. Two 10k resistors in parallel read 5k. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. So you go to measure your resistor. It could read short, and it may be okay, as I described, with an inductor in parallel with it. It could read various resistances from 0 to 10 kiloohms if it's a 10k resistor, because of other resistors or resistances in parallel with it, but it can't read more than 10. Okay, and because of that, if we ever do see a higher reading than the rated resistance for that resistor, we know it is faulty. Okay, it could be open, it could have gone high in value, and that's how resistors fail. Generally anyway, they don't go short. If a resistor fails, it either goes open or high resistance. And I always thought that was the case until this, which you're not going to see. So this was part of a repair video I made on some amplifiers I was working on. I edited this segment out because it wasn't relevant to the actual fault, and I wanted to put this in its own video. So watch this and see what you make of it, yeah? Are you as confused as I was? The plus and minus apply go to a few other places. We have a link here. We can see this is the capacitor. That's the other capacitor. Okay. This is the junction between them on ground, obviously. So we have something here, and then the chip. I mean, that's it. Yeah, there may be something there. Okay, so let's have a look what these somethings are. Well, that something is a capacitor, so that should read open, and this one is a resistor, and there's another resistor of the same value. Okay, and the other something is a capacitor. So capacitor reads climbing up, yeah, open. Other capacitor is here, climbing up, open. And then we have these two resistors. And you can see this is marked brown, red, black, black, brown. So one of the browns will be 1% on one end or the other. But if we go from this end, we see 1, 0, 0, and 2 more zeros. That's red, okay? And that's 10k. And it's marked as 10k. And the same on that one, okay? So these resistors should read 10k. And it reads open. Okay, and this one climbing up. That goes into megs, reads open. And looking on the other one while I'm here, this also reads open or very high. And this one reads open. So those resistors have blown We can take them out and double check, but from what I can see, the resistors have gone. But the only other thing it provides is power to this IC, so unless there's some problem caused by those being open circuit, and this is oscillating or doing something crazy, I'd have to say the problem is this chip, and I'm wondering if these are genuine. We'd have to prove that a different way, I think. But first of all, let's just unsolder these resistors and check them out of circuit, but they must be open, and we'll try replacing them. And here are our resistors. Which unbelievably read 10k. Well, that one does. How can they not read 10k in circuit? You saw what I was doing. You can see where they are because I've unsoldered them. Obviously they should read high. And they read open on the other one. Yeah. No matter how much I press on there, I cannot get that to read. See that? No capacitor charge there, which is confusing this. Well, there is a capacitor charging, but it goes above 10k a lot. Let's unsolder these ones. And they're going to read 10k, aren't they? I just know they're going to read 10k. Yeah. 10k. $10k. So how can they read higher in circuit? They can't. We just see the capacitor charging. This doesn't make any sense. I'm struggling to explain this. But if I tag my resistor onto here, for example, I won't even put it in the circuit. Okay. The other end, well, we can just tag it down here because that's where it goes to, yeah? It's a bit long to put where it should be, but let's put it there. Okay. So that's tagged across where it should be. What's it read? More than 10k. All the way. More than 10k? That makes no logical sense, but logically it is happening, so there must be a logical reason. Okay. Or the multimeter. What's it read? $18k. Going downwards. There's capacitor obviously in the circuit somewhere. Let me just short the resistor, so I'm shorting the capacitor, yeah, whatever it is, I'm shorting it. Let's go again. $18k. Going downwards. Do you know, I think the auto ranging is getting really confused. Mega ohms. So we'll put this one onto manual ranging. Okay, so 60k manual. What's it do now? Well, it reads lower. It can read lower than 10, it just can't read more. Is it going to stop when it gets to 10? This is the question. Or before it gets to 10? Just for my own sanity. And the battery is charging on the meter by the looks of it soon as well, but it's okay. Right, come on, what are you going to do? Well, I'd say it's going to stop. I mean, it's going up slower now, yeah. Okay, I'm happy that would stop. So, auto ranging on the multimeter was causing that weirdness. Right. Well, guys, there you go. Yeah. So, in actual fact, the rule that I was taught and you were taught and you pair over there were taught is correct. It can't read more than its resistance value in circuit. But I was taught that before we had auto ranging multimeters. In fact, we had analog multimeters for the main part in them days, and a few digital ones. So it's the auto ranging that's the problem. It's the test equipment, it's the instrument that is the problem here. Or more specifically, it's the way that you use the instrument that is the problem here. You're causing the problem. Okay, so guys, auto ranging on multimeters, don't always trust it. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure a lot of you did enjoy that and you'll want to chat about it down there. So get talking, and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.